same. We had a wonderful day's athletics yesterday. We've had a terrific 3 days. 19 gold medals already decided, and I should say 25 gold medals, and another 19 coming during the course of this morning and this afternoon. We've had packed stadiums here at the Gavle Stadium, which also goes by the name of the Gunderheg Stadium, after the iconic Swedish middle distance runner of the 1940s, who set a number of world records here. And we're just about to get underway with 2 heats of the 110 metres hurdles in the decathlon. The 6th discipline. This is this morning. It's a little bit sparse, but there's some very, very good quality action coming up. We've got the men's decathlon and the discus coming up this morning. And then at 12:15, the first gold medal to be decided here today on the 4th day here in Gavle, the 20-kilometre race walk for women, and that's followed back-to-back by the 20-kilometre race walk for men. And then we go through the afternoon. It's all finals, basically. 17 gold medals to be decided in the evening session. We've got the concluding 2 events of the decathlon, followed by, as often is the case, the climax of the championships, the men's and women's 4x100 metres relays. Well, alongside me is my co-commentator, Alex Seftel. My name's Phil Minshall, and it's going to be a long day, but I think it's going to be an exciting one.
Absolutely, and the decathlon was sensational yesterday and set itself up nicely for day 2, as always. Just quick thoughts on the standings. So Johannes leading by 250 points on 4,513 from Manuel Eitel. The first of the Germans, Nicholas Karl, hauled himself up into provisional medal spot at this stage, right on cue. Here are the standings. Rodi de Wolf also battling over that medal, but you feel as though Karl will have a strong second day. How many Germans will be on the podium, and in what positions will they be? Johannes though, the American collegiate champion, he's been pretty consistent, hasn't he, Phil?
Yes, he has. I mean, he's set a personal best in Austin at the US Collegiate Championships of 8,352 points. Now, he's actually 168 points ahead of his halfway mark in Austin. Back in Austin, he had 4,354 points. Here, as you saw on the caption, 4,513. So if he can maintain the type of form that took him to that very, very high-quality American collegiate title just a few weeks ago, could be on course for something around the 8,500 points mark. And that is a truly world-class tally.
So first of all, with heat number 1, kicking off the final day of action at these European Athletics Under-23 Championships. Uusimäki of Finland in lane 1, alongside him Anis Nikolaos Peristeris. Rafael Ra, one of 3 Dutchmen here. Then Kunskas of Lithuania, lifetime best of 15.18 this year. Mackenson Gletti, another of those, along with Uusimäki, who didn't get a measurement in one of the field events yesterday, but electing to continue here. Rick Tam. We'll see Rodi de Wolf, who's in 4th place overall in the standings, in the 2nd and faster of the 2 heats. And Ruhrmann, the 3rd of the Germans. Fantastic shot putter yesterday. So the first of 2 heats of the 110 hurdles as part of the decathlon. This is going to be a long but thrilling day of action. Uusimäki, Peristeris, Rapp, then Kunskas, Gletti, Tam and Ruhrmann. Good start on the inside by Uusimäki, just as he did yesterday. in the 100 metres. The Finn still holding the lead. Gletty trying to come through, as is the tall Dutchman Raap. Gletty gritting his teeth though. He's going to take this comfortably, 14.65, and applauding himself with good measure.
Well, that's a very useful time indeed. When you compare that to the championship best at the European Under-23s of 14.10 by Bart Banama, going back to 1997, the very first European Under-23 Championships, and the fact that we've got some very fast men in the second heat, I think that augurs well and tells you that the conditions are good here for fast hurdling. There's the times just coming through. Gletty's time adjusted to 14.64. So we see the replay again. Well, Gletty, some nice hurdling from the Frenchman. Quite a lot of damaged hurdles behind him, though. It's quite a demolition act going on with some of the other hurdlers here. He did clip that one. 3 from home. But Gletty, about 2 meters between himself and Raap.
Similar to the heptathlon, and that Solène Ndama, as expected, was quick in the hurdles. Unfortunately for her, though, there was no mark in the high jump. A real shock for one of the medal contenders. Gletty, no measurement in the shot put yesterday. But he has continued. You suggested, Phil, that 1 or 2 might continue until the 400 metres.
Yes, there was a couple that dropped out ahead of the 400 metres.
So there we are, 894 points by virtue of that time of 14.64 as we have a look at this result. Now, incidentally, in the second heat, we've got the neutral athlete Makarenko, who is part of the individual hurdles competition, and he was incredibly close to a medal.
Well, Makarenko's in fact dropped out. He dropped out at the 400 metres, so we don't have Makarenko, but as you rightly say, he was expected to be possibly just on the cusp of a medal during the course of the first day, but he didn't line up for the 400 metres. And we've also lost Noot of Belgium from amongst the starters as well. But we haven't lost this man, Johannes Erm. Johannes Erm going terrifically well, as I say, sort of has scored 4,513 points to lead the way at this stage. Doesn't have quite as strong a second day as some of his rivals. This man, Nicholas Cowell, he's the man who's got an absolutely stunning javelin on his day, can throw over 80 metres, but doesn't need to lose too many points at this stage. The fastest hurdler in this field is actually Finley Guy. Guy, the Swiss athlete, a bit further down the standings. He was 6th overnight, possibly a little bit out of the medal contention. Guy, this is Nicholas Cowell. He's got a best time of 14.55, so he's not quite as quick as Erm on paper, and Erm has been running well over the hurdles this year. Might well be some of these men who can challenge that Under-23 championship best that I mentioned of 14.10. Here's Gustafsson. Saw plenty of him during the first day. So we just saw one Frenchman produce some nice tidy hurdling and take a win in the first heat of the 110 metres hurdles. We've got Ludovic Besson, who was in the 3rd place over the first few events yesterday and then drifted back to 5th at the end of the first day, at the halfway point in the session. So there's Erm and all his first day totals, in particular, particularly impressive in the high jump. Personal best there, and a stunning long jump of 7.97. That was adding a cent. He's a great long jumper, but that added a centimetre to his legal best. There's Eitel. Well, had an excellent 100 metres, clocking just, well, I think he did clock a championship best, 10.40 and change. He's actually lying in 2nd place at the moment, but doesn't have a strong second day. Cowell does, though. He's also an excellent pole vaulter. So that's the 1, 2, 3 at the moment, and definitely our favourites to get on the podium. However, in fourth place, not too many points back, is Roddy de Wolf. And de Wolf has had a terrific first day as well. 3 personal bests I made it from his first day. So there's the lineup from the inside. Lane 1, Rafael Orbovic, Poland. Alongside him, the fastest hurdler in this field, Finley Gaio. 14.08 at best, so inside that championship best. Manuel Ito, he's quick, but he's not quite as proficient over the barriers. Andreas Gustafsson, Swede will get plenty of cheers. Nicholas Cowell, well, we've talked an awful lot about the German. Let's see what he can do. Well, Roddy de Wolf has been ticking off personal best left, right and centre, so this could be a good event for him. Ludovic Besson, perhaps the weakest hurdler in this field. And Johannes Herm. Well, he needs to rack up some good points ahead of the pole vault and the javelin later on today. Also a pretty competent distance thrower. So, leading men will be looking to clock around just outside 14 seconds, I would imagine. Hopefully go a bit faster, but that may not be realistic. Settle into their box. And it's Orbovic, Poland, and then on moving outside, Gaio, Switzerland, Eitel, Germany, Gustafsson, Sweden, Cowell, Germany, de Wolf, Netherlands, Besson, France, and Erm has a good start, although he's trapping for a couple of hurdles now. Gaio, as expected, doing extremely well. Eitel on his inside, having a good run as well. Cowell not so strong at this stage. Well, Erm came through on the outside in the shade. The cameraman thinks he's won. We'll just confirm that. 14.36, well, it's adjusted down to 14.33, so 932 points. Gaio started well, and that is a good hurdler, but then made a mess of the second half of the race, 14.43. And the man I think who will be most happy with that run is Eitel in third. Eitel just a couple of hundredths outside of his personal best, as was de Wolf. Cowell, well, not a good run from Cowell. He's lost points, lost quite a lot of points on Erm. And Besson comes through in sixth place, 14.96. Gustafsson bringing up the rear, about half a second outside of his best.
I think you're quite right to suggest that Eitel will be particularly pleased with that out of those top 3 men, especially because in terms of his lifetime best, it would only be 4 points that he could have got had he ran it. Four more points, I should say.
Well, as we're looking at the replay of the race, and Erm coming through very strongly in the second half of the race, as Gaio clips a few hurdles and goes backwards. Well, on paper, the personal best put Erm and Cowell about 4/10 apart, but in this race put them 7/10 apart. So I think Erm will consider that a good performance, even though I'm sure he would have liked to have run a little bit faster and probably add a few more points to his total. Nevertheless, he's still on course. Personal best tally. Probably around just under 8,500 points if he keeps up putting the points together. 14.33 for Erm, Gaio second, 14.43, Eitel third, 14.48. And you can see what that converts to. 932 points for Erm. So Cowell loses 53 points on Erm. Eitel stays in second place. So there's the standings after 6 events. Erm, 5,445 points. Eitel, 5,176 points. 269 points behind Erm. And Cowell drifts back a little bit. 5,078 points. Now 367 points behind Erm. But over the course of the pole vault and the javelin, he can make up that deficit. Needs to have a very good discus as well, just to keep his gold medal chances alive. We run down the rest of the standings. 15 men still in this competition.
And this is the projected standings. So that sees the top three stay the same, as it were. There are about 250 points separating the PBs in the javelin. In fact, Cowell at best 72 meters 89 compared to Erm's 56.27. One of the more significant differences there.
I'd like to see what they actually predict in terms of points totals. I'm predicting Erm is going to get just under 8,500 points, maybe about 8,460, 70. Cowell might well, if he throws well in the javelin, get a personal best as well. Eitel certainly is on course for a personal best, as also is Roddy de Wolf, the Dutchman, who's 5th at the moment, but projected to go up to 4th by the end of today. Well, we'll wait and see. There's 4 more events to come. There's a lot more action to unfold in the decathlon. The pole vault so often can be a very difficult event. It's not by any stretch of the imagination an easy event to predict. And then we have the 1,500 meters finishing off proceedings at towards the end of the day. The men's decathlon 1,500 meters takes place at 6:15 local time here in Gavle. That's Central European time, and we're 2 hours ahead of GMT if you're trying to work out how that relates to where you might be. Well, we've got the first event of the morning session underway. We now have a slight break of, I make it about half an hour before the men come back and enter the discus circle. The men's discus, just one pool. You saw on the captions there that it's scheduled to be 2 pools. Well, now we're down to 15 throws and they're putting everybody into one rather big pool. That's going to get underway in just over half an hour at 10:20. So Alex and I can nip off, I think, for a coffee. What do you think, Alex? Good idea?
Sounds good.
Okay. Join us again in half an hour, just before 10:20, for further commentary from the 2019 European Athletics Under-23 Championships.